many boats to be seen on the sea today. If you've been here in the 1960s, 70s, every day fishing boats would have headed out from Aberdeen Harbour, lots and lots of them. That began to change when oil was found in the North Sea. Can you imagine so many fishing boats going out every day? And the story I'm going to tell you now is about one of those fishermen. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman, and his name was Arthur. And he had a lovely little boat called Annabelle. And you can make a boat if you take a piece of paper and you fold it in at the corners, and then this flap, fold it up, you've got a little fishing boat. And this is Annabelle. And he would take Annabelle out to sea, and he would catch fish all day and then come back into Aberdeen. And when he was out at sea, he would see all kinds of creatures. I wonder if you can think of anything he might have seen. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you might see the dolphins just by the harbour. Or maybe if you're very lucky, you might see a whale. Well, Arthur saw them so many times, and other exciting things too. Years and years he fished, and he loved the wind in his face. He didn't mind the winter cold, but his body did. And as he got older, he found that when he came back in, he was so sore and tired. And eventually one day he turned to his little boat and said, "Annabelle, I don't think I can fish anymore. I love to be out at sea with you, but my body's just getting older. I'm going to have to sell you." Oh, what a sad day. Well, the very next day he was cleaning Annabelle when this young man came along, wearing a tie and a suit. He looked very, very smart, and he said, "Are you selling your boat?" Arthur said, "Yes, I am. Oh, my name's John, and I heard from some of the other folk here that was maybe what was happening, and I'm so keen to be a fisherman, but I don't know anything about it. Would you be willing to teach me? And if I can, I'd like to buy your boat." "Oh," said Arthur, "well, I can teach you what I know, and yes, I will." So over the next few months, Arthur took John out in Annabelle, and John picked things up very, very quickly, and they got on really, really well. There came a day when Arthur said to John, "You're ready, John. You can now take Annabelle out by yourself." Said John, "Really?" Yes. John gave Arthur the money for Annabelle, and Arthur watched as John headed out to sea. Oh, he said, "Well, I suppose I can go back and read my paper." And that's what he did. In his wee flattened tory, he would sit inside and look out the window, wishing that he could be out in the sea. "Well," he said, "even if I couldn't be out at sea, I'd love to be travelling somewhere. I would love to go somewhere where it wasn't cold. I know where I would like to go. I'd like to go to the moon. That's what I really would like to do." Well, every now and again he would go down and he'd meet John coming in with Annabelle. And this one day, John got off the boat looking very glum. "What's wrong?" said Arthur. "Arthur, I'm really sorry, but I'm finding fishing very lonely. I don't like being by myself, and I don't think I could be a fisherman." "Oh," said Arthur, "would you like to buy Annabelle back?" "I would love to buy Annabelle back," said Arthur, "but I'm not going fishing again. Do you know what I fancy doing, John?" "What's that?" "I would love to go to the moon." "The moon?" "Aye, but I'd need a spaceship." Oh, said John, let's get a book out the library and we can convert Annabelle to becoming a spaceship. What do you think? That's a fantastic idea, said Arthur. Do you think we could? Aye, said John. I've got a garage up in Torry and I am sure that we could take Annabelle there and do everything that's needing done. And so it was. A few months later, Annabelle was looking very different. She was all set for flying to the moon. Now, the day before, John said to Arthur, Arthur, you know how you've got your old fisherman's jumper? Aye, said Arthur, what's wrong with my jumper? Well, it's not really suitable for a spacesuit, you know. And see your old woolly cap? Well, that's not really the look we want. Oh, said Arthur, and I've got you a white t-shirt to wear. A clean white t-shirt. It'll look fantastic. Oh, all right, said Arthur. That's grand. So he gave over the white t-shirt to Arthur. And Arthur took it. Right, tomorrow morning, said John, up to the Tory Battery and we'll get Annabelle set for going to the moon. Yes, said Arthur, I'm so excited. It's going to be fantastic. Next morning, Arthur put on his white t-shirt. He looked very, very smart, I have to say. But in his bag, he stuffed in his old fisherman's jumper and his old cap. And up to the Battery he went. There was John, there was Annabelle, new lick of paint. She was looking amazing. Now, in you go, said John. Oh, you've got your bonny white t-shirt on. That looks really smart. Oh, thank you, said Arthur. So he went up the steps and into the top of Annabelle, and he put down the lid and he put on his space helmet and he was all set and he put his thumbs up. Okay, said John, and he went all the way around Annabelle and he lit all the fireworks that were going to take Annabelle up to the moon. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and they were off, up and up and up to the moon. Oh, Arthur couldn't believe it. All the stars, it was beautiful. He was so excited. And he hurriedly took off his white t-shirt and put on his fisherman's jumper and his fisherman's cap. Oh, that feels better, Annabelle. This is a new voyage for us. And he patted her and said, oh, you're such a clever, clever ship. Well, as they approached the moon, Arthur suddenly said to Annabelle, Annabelle, I don't think we fitted any brakes. I don't know how we're going to land. Oh no! And there was the moon coming up and oh no! Bink! Annabelle crashed into the moon and some of her came off. Oh no! Well, she slid to a stop and then Arthur caught the lid up and he climbed out down the steps onto the moon. Oh my, and he peeked down and he could see Earth. Oh, look at that blue ball, that's my home. Oh, this is amazing. And then he heard a sound behind him and he looked round and there was a great big monster and it was glowering at him. What are you doing here? Said the monster. Oh, hello, said Arthur. I'm just visiting. I've always wanted to come to the moon and here I am. Have you come to steal my cheese? What cheese? Said Arthur. This moon is made of cheese and it's all mine. Oh, said Arthur, honestly, I didn't know that and I haven't come to steal your cheese, I promise. In fact, he thought quickly, how could he make this creature happy? Would you like a wee present from Earth? Because that's where I've come from. What kind of present? Arthur took off his little woolen bonnet. He said, would you like my wee hat? That's not going to fit me, said the monster. Well, if you kneel down, I could put it on one of your lugs. I could put it on one of your ears. Oh, said the creature. So it knelt down in front of Arthur, and Arthur took his cap and he plonked it on one of the huge lugs. "Now," said Arthur, "look at that. Oh my." And the monster said, "How's it looking?" "Well, it looks really good on you." "Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Would you like a wee bit of your cheese?" Aye," said Arthur, "thank you." So the monster handed Arthur a wee bit of cheese, and Arthur put it in his mouth. It was a wee bit gritty, but it tasted fine. "Thank you. I'll keep the rest for later." And he put it in his pocket. Arthur says, "But monster, I don't know what I'm going to do, because my wee ship, she crashed into the moon and I don't know how to get back down to earth." "Ha!" said the monster. "That's no problem for me. Did you see the muscles on me?" "Oh," said Arthur, "could you lift Annabelle?" "Course I could. You get back in and I'll sort you out." So Arthur climbed back up the steps and down into Annabelle and closed the lid. And the monster, he heaved up Annabelle and he threw her back down to earth, waving cheerio to Arthur. And Arthur waved goodbye and zoomed down, 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 down to earth. Oh, he said, "Look at the seas, look at the beautiful land, and there's Aberdeen. Oh my, I've headed straight for Aberdeen. Oh my, I'm heading straight for the lighthouse." And right enough, straight into the lighthouse went Annabelle with a crash. And she turned upside down and under the water, glug, 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 all the way down to the bottom. And when she hit the bottom, she crashed again and the top of her came off. Oh my goodness. That meant Arthur could come out. And he swam all the way up to the surface. He said, "Oh, I was going to drown." And he opened his eyes. And he looked round. And he found he was in his living room. And he rubbed his eyes and went, "That's very strange." But there, on the floor in front of him, what did he see? But a white t-shirt. And there, beside it, was a little bit of cheese. Well, I leave it to you to decide. Was that a story that happened to Arthur? Or was it a dream?
If you go down to the sea today, you're best to go at low tide. If you go down to the sea today, you'll find where lots of things bide. For under every stone and in rock pools or sand are gathered creatures together, because here's their homes to hide in when the tide's out.
This is low tide at Aberdeen Beach, and the tide has just turned, so the water's coming back in right now. And that's something that you can look at online, is checking when the tides are, and come maybe an hour before low tide to have a good hunt around, because the tide starts to come in very, very fast. And you have to be very careful. I would advise wellies or water shoes in the summer, because it's quite rocky. You just never know what you'll find.
When you turn over the rocks, look carefully to see what's there. Some creatures live in the damp sand or rock pools, and others live on the stones. Can you see all these tiny little stones? They're homes to little creatures, and all the barnacles there as well. And here's a funny wriggly thing I found. You can have a closer look at these creatures, like this water snail, as long as you don't damage them. Don't leave them out of their damp home for long, and carefully put them back where you find them afterwards. Oh, can you see the tiny little crab? It's going to try and hide under a rock. Some crabs live in shells, and they're called hermit crabs, and that's what our story is going to be about. Remember, always put the stones back where you find them, because that is the only home these creatures have.
One day, I took my dog Bertie for a walk at the beach, and the tide was really low. It was way, way out. So I went down to the foot-D end, and there all the rocks were exposed, and I started looking for creatures. And Bertie was sniffing about, and all of a sudden he started growling and barking. And then he came out carrying something in his mouth. And I got closer, and there I saw he had a little hermit crab. And the hermit crab was crying, "Help, help, help." I said, "Oh, Bertie, drop, drop." And he did. And I picked up the little hermit crab. Oh, said the hermit crab, "that's not very nice." "Oh, I'm so sorry, hermit crab. Are you all right?" "Oh, yes, I think so. Just a little bit bruised." "Oh, can I take you back to your little house? Which pool are you in?" So the little hermit crab led me back to his pool. "Now, which rock do I put you under?" "That one there." "Oh, right. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, thank you for helping me. I'm surprised you can talk." "Well, only special hermit crabs can talk." "Well, I'm very pleased to meet you." "Now," said the hermit crab, "my name's Hermie. What's yours?" "I'm Grace." "Well, Grace, because you've helped me, I want to give you a present." "Oh, there's no need for that." "Well, yes. Come back tomorrow at low tide." "All right. And see if you can find me. I'll be looking out for you." "Oh, okay. Please don't bring your dog." "Okay, I won't bring my dog." "All right then. See you tomorrow." So the next day, I headed back down the beach. And I hunted, and then eventually I saw Hermie. "There you are, Hermie." "Hello, Grace, you're back." "Aye." "So, the present I want to give you, you've got to come and stand at the edge of the pool and count to 10. "Oh, okay, I can do that." "Can you help me count to 10? Close your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when I opened my eyes, everything had changed. I'd become a snail. "Hermie, what's happened to me?" "This is my wee present to you. You're going to be a snail until the tide changes. It's nae long." "Oh my goodness, and this is where you live?" "Aye, this is a rock pool." "And I thought you might like to meet some of my pals." "Oh, I'd love to." "Well, they'll come and say hi. I'm away for a wee sleep. I'll see you shortly." "Oh, all right. See you later." And Hermie went into his shell. Well, the first creature to come along was a little crab. "Hello." "Oh, hello. I've not seen you here before." "Well, actually, I'm human, but Hermie's let me become a snail for a wee while. It's a wee bit weird, being under the water and all." "Well, it's nice to have you. What's your name?" My name's Grace." "Well, I'm Crab, and this is where I live." And where do you stay?" "Oh, under that rock over there." "Oh, I see. And is it quite safe?" "I have to watch out for the birds." "Oh, the birds, they're risky. And the odd human comes along and lifts up a rock to have a look." As long as they don't hurt me, I don't mind. Oh, have to watch out for your claws. You have to be careful now. Well, I'm away now. I'm just needing some to eat. See you later. And off went Crab. Well, the next creature to come along was another wee snail. Hello, another snail. Well, actually, I'm not a snail. Yeah, I look like one. My name's Grace. Well, it's nice to meet you, Grace. What you doing here? Well, Hermie let me be in the pool for a wee while. Well, it's nice to have company, I tell you. Don't often see another snail in my pool. Hey, Grace, do you fancy a race? A snail race? Aye, we'll just race her that way. Oh, okay then. Ready, steady, go. And off we went on a wee race. But just as we were getting to the other side of the pool, Snaily went, ow! Oh, what was that? And I looked under Snaily. Oh, Snaily, you've got a big cut on you. Oh, careful, careful. Ow! Poor Snaily was bleeding. Oh no, what are we going to do? Oh, you'll have to get Larry the lobster to come. Larry the lobster? Aye, he can help. He's very good at things like that. And where will I find Larry? He'll be under the seaweed. He doesn't like being disturbed though. Oh dear, I'll just wait over here. Well, I went looking. Larry? Larry? He wasn't under there. Larry? Voice came. Oh, there's a claw. Oh, I said, Larry? Aye. Larry, there's a wee Snaily's hurt. A wee Snaily's hurt? Oh, Michty, what's happened? Oh, she got cut on something in the pool. Well, where is she? I'm right here. Oh, let me have a look at you. Oh, my goodness, said Lobster. I need to see what I can do about that. Well, Lobster says, I know. There's some fishing line left for the other day. I found it in the pool. And Lobster got the fishing line and very quickly he sewed up that little cut. Now there you go, Snaily. Watch yourself now. I'm away back under my seaweed. And off went Lobster for another snooze. Are you all right now, Snaily? Aye, I'm all right. Got to be careful though. There's lots of things left lying around. Oh, dearie me, I'm sorry to hear that. Just at that moment, Hermie came back out of his shell. Hey, Grace, that's the tide turning. Did you feel the change? Aye, I did. Aye, well, it's time for you to become human again. You have to count to 10. Oh, well, thanks so much for having me. Nice to meet you, Snaily. I hope you're better soon. Thanks, said Snaily. Right, so you count to 10. Close your eyes again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there I was, back to normal. Oh, Hermie, thank you so much. That was a very interesting time in your pool and meeting all the creators. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, said Hermie. But I'm away back under my rock, please. I thank you, cheerio. Back he went inside his shell and I carefully put him under the rock. And then I went to the other side of the pool. There was a broken lunchbox and there were bits in the pool and beside it. And I picked them up and I went and put them in a bin. And I thought to myself, this rubbish shouldn't be here. So from then on, I have taken a black bag with me. Sometimes a litter pick, sometimes gloves, and then I can clear up any rubbish that I see and hope that no more animals will get hurt. So if you're down the beach, why not take an extra black bag with you? And if you see any rubbish, you have to be careful, but put it in the black bag and then put it in the bin. And you never know what creatures you might be saving. And always remember, guys, that if you are having a picnic, which is great fun, take your litter back with you. It's not good to leave it in other creators' homes. Little baby David was born into a very happy family. His parents were delighted. Olivia and Ewan, it was their first child, and when they got home from hospital, they were all in a panic, but also so happy. And when the doorbell rang, Ewan ran downstairs expecting to see his parents. When he opened the door, there was a stranger dressed in a long blue cloak, the colour of the sky, and she had a hood up so he could not see her face. "Hello," said Ewan. "Good day, Ewan. You have a newborn son." "Yes, he is a very special boy, and I have a gift for him." And from under her cloak, she brought out something in her hand. And she handed it to Ewan. And Ewan looked down, and it was a star, a silver star, beautifully intricate. And he was quite overcome, and he looked up and she was gone. He looked down the street, but no sign of her. Very strange, he thought, and he closed the door and ran back up the stairs to Olivia. She was nursing David in the bed. "What was that?" I don't know," said Ewan. "I was given this." And he showed her the star. "Oh," said Olivia, and her eyes went wide. "My granny had one of them." "Really?" "Yes. It was from a fairy when she was born." "Oh," said Ewan, and what's it for?" "Well, it means that our son is special." "Well, we knew that already," said Ewan. "Yes, but it means that he'll be able to understand every creature in this world. He'll know their speech." "Really?" "Yes. We have to make sure that it's on his person the whole time. He must never be without it." "Oh, all right. Well, let's put it in his cot." So from that day on, little baby David had that silver star beside him the whole time. And as he got a bit bigger, his mum made little pockets on all his clothing so that it could be on his person wherever he went. And as he crawled around and as he started walking, every now and again when he was outside, he would stop and he would listen. And a big smile would come over his face because he was hearing things his parents couldn't. He began to understand all birds and insects, but his favourite thing to do was to put his ear to the ground and listen to the worms chirtling, or maybe the slaters under the rocks. Well, as he got bigger, he would spend more and more time on his own, listening to all the animals and the birds. And he would always have his hand in his pocket, touching the beautiful little star. When he was about 7, he asked if he could go down the river. He was very, very sensible, and his mum let him go down by himself. He went and sat on one of his favourite places on a rocky bank and just listened. The water was flowing by. Oh, what was that? And he looked up in the tree and it was a goldfinch crying. "Goldie, what's wrong?" said David. And the bird called out, "My claws are stuck on the branch, I can't get away." "Oh no," said David, and he tried to climb up the tree, but he couldn't manage. He said, I'm away home. I'll get Dad to come. And he ran home, and Dad was working in the garage. And he got his dad to bring the ladder down. And his dad climbed up, he brought a saw, and he cut off the branch that the bird was on. And they took the branch back to the house. David's father was a vet and managed to loosen off the claws from the branch, and then cleaned them up, and then gently put the goldfinch back in David's hands. There you go, little birdie. David took the Goldie back down to the river, and off flew Goldie. And then he flew back and said, David, listen, if there's anything I can ever do for you, let me know. I will, said David, smiling, thinking, when am I ever going to need a goldfinch's help? It was a few weeks later. David headed out one early Saturday morning. It was a lovely sunny day. He was walking along, just listening, when his eye was caught by something in the river. And he looked closer and he realised it was an otter. Otter, he called. Are you okay? The otter's head whipped round. David, please help. Well, David scrambled down the bank, and not even thinking about his clothing, he waded into the river. It wasn't deep there. And he came to the rock. Otter was completely snarled up in a fishing line. Oh, Otter! David carefully lifted Otter up, wet, heavy and quite smelly, and held him against his chest and took him back to the bank. He got out his multi-tool that he got for his last birthday, and he began to start snipping the fishing line all from around the otter. It took a long time. Some of the line had cut through into Otter's back leg, but eventually David managed to get the creature free. David, thank you. I don't know what I'd have done without you. Anything I can ever do for you for what you've done for me today. And off went Otter, sleek, into the water. David spent the rest of that morning looking for that fishing line. It was upsetting to find things like that would hurt the creatures. The next day he decided he'd try and go out again. But this time he heard dogs barking and snarling and snapping. And he came across two of them, and they had something and they were tearing at it. Now, David's speech was for every creature. So David shouted out, "Dogs, go! Leave it alone!" And the dogs immediately turned tail and ran, leaving behind a poor little bird, and it was lying very still, covered in blood. David darted over and felt the wee thing. It was still warm and he could feel a heart beating, but oh, the wing was torn to bits. It was a wee water bird, a dipper. He lifted it up in his hands and he ran home as fast as he could. And Dad had just finished work. Dad, look! Oh my goodness! In the car, come on down to the hospital. Sometime later, Dad came out. He was very solemn. Is it dead? No, it's not dead, but I don't know if she's going to live, David. But we'll take her home and take great care of her, and we'll do our best, eh? David nodded. Well, within a few days, she was starting to flex her wee wing. Now, dippers, it's very important that their wings are strong because they fly under the water to get their food off the stones. So David and Ewan took off the bandages, and right enough, the wing was starting to work properly. You're going to be okay, little bird. Thank you, said the dipper. I really want to go back to the river. Once you're ready, we'll take you back. Well, that day came, and the dipper flew off from David's hand as if she hadn't had a broken wing at all. And then she immediately flew back and landed on his shoulder. David, thank you so much. If you ever need my help, I'm here. "Oh, thanks, Dipper," said David, thinking to himself, "when am I ever going to need a Dipper's help?" Then she flew off, and soon she was starting to feed under the rocks. David was very popular at school, because if there were any birds passing over, he would very quietly speak to them, and they would come down and land on his shoulder. And the children could then look at the birds and listen to them singing, and the birds weren't scared when they were with David. But there was one boy who always stood back. He was jealous, and he wanted what David had. And he wondered, how did David have this power over creatures? David had kept his star a secret from all but his best friend. Well, this boy watched and watched, and he saw that David had his hand in his pocket a lot. One day, David woke up. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, and he got down to the river as fast as he could. But as he walked, he thought there was something wrong, and he couldn't quite figure out what it was. He could hear the birds singing, but he couldn't hear anything talking. He listened harder, but no. He knelt down on the ground to see if he could hear the worms. Nothing. And he put his hand in his pocket. The star was gone. He put his hand in his other pocket, and he searched every pocket, and he took off his backpack, but there was nothing there. Well, he ran home and up to his room, and he checked under his bed, he checked everywhere, and there were tears beginning to form. He felt like he'd lost a part of himself, and then he was thinking, I was down the river after school yesterday, so he went to that part of the river. Nothing. He threw himself down on the riverbank and began to cry his heart out. He'd lost his star. Goldie was flying over. "Oi, David, what's going on?" But all David could hear was Goldfinch's call. "Goldie, I can't understand you." Well, Goldie came and landed on his shoulder. Goldie could fortunately still understand him. "I've lost my star, Goldie." "Well, I'm sure I can do something about that. I'll get the other birds on the case." And off Goldie flew. And he told the blackbird, and the blackbird told the wren, and the wren told the robin, and the robin went, "Oh, I think I know where it is." The previous day, the boy who'd stolen the star had popped it in his pocket and expected magic things to happen. But nothing had, for the gift had been given to David, nobody else. And the boy took the star out his pocket, and although it was a bonny looking thing, he thought, I'm not keeping this, and I'm not giving it back. And he threw it under a bush. And that's where Jackdaw had found it. And Jackdaw really liked shiny things, and had taken it up to his nest in the chimney. And that's what Robin had seen. Robin did not want to speak to Jackdaw, because Jackdaw was quite a bit bigger than Robin. But Robin spoke to Crow. "Crow, I know where David's star is." And Crow says, "Right, I'll head to Jackdaw and I'll get it back." So Crow flew up to the roof. "Hey, Jackdaw." "Aye, who's speaking?" "It's me, Crow. I believe you have something that doesn't belong to you." "What do you mean?" "David's star. I found it." "Aye, but it's his and he needs it back." "No, it's mine. Bring it out here right now." Well, Jackdaw did, but he flew off and Crow flapped after him. And Crow shouted out, "Give it back right now." And Jackdaw shouted back, "No!" And as he shouted that, Jackdaw opened his beak and the star fell out. Down, 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 down it went and sploosh into the river. "Oh no, said Crow, landing on the bank. But 2 otters were coming up the river. Hey, otters, come over here, said Crow. Aye, what's going on, said Otter. David's star, it's fallen in the river. Could you go and find it? We can try. So the otters started diving down. They hunted high and low, but could they find it? No. And as they were surfacing, there was Dipper. What's going on? Oh, David's star's fallen in the river. Dipper, maybe it's gone under a rock. Could you have a look? So the Dipper started looking, and right enough, there was a shiny thing just hiding under the rock. Dipper tried to reach it, but she couldn't quite manage it. Otter's over here! So the otters swam over, and they managed between them to prise it out from where it got stuck under the rock. And the otter and Dipper went to find David, and there he was, sitting beside the river, looking very glum. And Dipper shouted out, David, David, we found a star. Well, you should have seen David's face. He was delighted. Otter clambered up beside David and put it into David's hand. Thank you so much, he said, and he clasped it to himself. I'm never going to let the star out of my sight again. Aye, you better not, said Otter. Thank you. You have all helped me, he said, smiling. Well, David went home, and that very day he made a little tiny bag for it, and he put it round his neck so that he would always have it on his person. And, do you know, that little silver star had other magic properties that David began to discover as he got older. But that is another story.